Hail Kingdom, this Switch leveling build is just broken. Fast clear, easy giving and boss damage. Just look at this guy, he got deleted. In this video I'll show you how to get this damage early and scale it through the campaign straight to the endgame. But every broken build starts in Act 1. Just by picking which you already got one of the strongest classes to start early on. Because after getting your weapon from this zombie and then advancing just a little bit through the first area, you will find chest with the new skill Unearth, as well as Rattling Scepter, which can be equipped in your offhand. Now you will have 2 extra skeletons to aid you in the party, but don't forget to spend extra spirit, and actually you can have 3 skeletons right now. At this point we're still using our main weapon attack skill as main damage source against enemies and bosses, and right now it's Chaos Bolt, but if you will find any other wand or staff with any other damaging skill, it probably will be better, so feel free to change it. If there's loads of enemies, start using Unearth. It's area of effect attack, and after enemies are defeated and you attack their corpses, they will be respawned as mini headcrabs that also will aid you in a battle. Now after first boss is defeated, you will find Renly, and he will give you uncut skill gem. This skill gems can be used to cut skills that you want, and the first skill we cut is Contagion. You won't have any gold at League start, but I recommend to sell any piece of magic gear you will find and get gold as fast as possible, because I prepared this shopping list for you. It will highlight any items that may be useful. For this build we're looking for items with level 2 all chaos skills, level 2 all spell skills and level 2 physical damage skills. For armor it's pretty easy, you just look for anything that got added life, and for boots it's movement speed. Big part of our insane damage will come from smart passive skill tree, and I will explain it by the end of every segment of this video, but you may find all my guides on Mobalytics. Link in the pinned comment, so feel free to get there, and I got leveling builds for every class. Now we are in our first zone, Clear Fell. Let's talk about our main skill Contagion right now. It works extremely simple, you just press the button and it applies damage over time effect to enemy. Whenever enemy is killed and still affected by this damage, it will spread this debuff to nearby enemies, and this helps clear out packs insanely fast. When you start feeling damage of the skill, you will be able to cast the skill on enemies and run away without waiting for them to die, so you will get experience by basically wasting 0 time. Next important part of this area is chest in abandoned camp, because that's where you will get one more skill gem. I will use it to create flame wall. And the next important part of this area is Bear of the Rotten Pack, the Ice Witch, who lives in this area. It's a boss and she will drop important items that will give us permanent ice resistance. But as you can see, our damage right now is pretty low and we are killing the enemies very slow. There's still optional boss in this area in Mud Burrow where you can go, but I will go straight to Grelwood. That's where it's really nice to find this little hut, where you will find cauldron, open it and get upgrade for your flasks, but also it will spawn a rare monster. This witch is pretty strong, but I will use Flame Wall to add extra fire damage to my projectiles. Basically I'm just creating Flame Wall, and now any projectile that goes through Flame Wall, and I'm using this Chaos Bolt, which is also projectile, will be augmented with extra fire damage, so effectively we're doubling damage at this point. And after defeating this lady I'm getting support gem. So support gems also will be uncut, and I can create extra power for my spells. The first one I will cut will be Unleash for Contagion. By the way, if options are limited, you can actually press on the button to show everything, and you will find support gem you are looking for. Unleash got pretty long description, but essentially what it does, it forces your spell to activate multiple times in one single button press. But to do it you need to wait a little bit between casts, so it accumulates charges. Also in this area you may find stuffs that will have skill level 2, and this is a great upgrade if you don't have wand upgrade. This setup is more than enough to go straight to the next area, Red Whale. Again, you can explore more, defeat more monsters and over-prepare for this zone with more support gems, but I'm here with just one support gem, and with right skill combination it's more than enough. Just bump Contagion on any monster, use a few Unearths, place Flame Wall and start shooting projectiles, that's it. By the end of this area you will find Rust King. And that's really important guy, you can't miss him, and he drops uncut skill gem level 3. and I will use it to create our next and most important skill, Essence Drain. This skill will shoot projectile that will apply damage over time debuff, while at the same time Contagion spreads any chaos damage debuffs on enemies. So we're using Essence Drain to apply chaos damage over time debuff, then we're using Contagion and it spreads 2 damage over time debuffs upon enemies. Now our clear is extremely simple, you just shoot Essence Drain, use Contagion on monster and it will spread this Contagion, this damage over time among his friends and clear zone for you. You don't even need to press any other additional buttons. Don't forget that since Essence Drain is projectile, it also will benefit from this extra fire damage on hit, but still it's just a little bit of extra damage right now to clear bosses a little bit faster than you normally would. In Grim Tangle area you want to defeat this Rotten Druid because he drops guaranteed support gem, and from this gem we will craft Swift Affliction on Essence Drain, which will increase damage over time effect. Next support gem can be found from this monster in Athenia Tomb near the checkpoint, and from this support gem we will craft Chain for Essence Drain. Now whenever Essence Drain hits first target, it will chain to nearby targets, therefore effectively hitting 2 targets at once. At this point you may find more skill gems of level 3 than you actually need, and extra skill you want to craft is Orb of Storms. And then when you finally reach Hunting Grounds, don't forget to visit this guy, because he also drops guaranteed support gem, which we will use to craft Magnified Area for Contagion. Now our Contagion will spread in even larger area to guarantee a lot more monster kills. Right now you see how my passive tree looks at this point. And also we got full setup for act number 1. Orb of Storms will apply shock to enemies, most importantly to bosses, and this will make bosses take increased damage. Combine it with Flame Wall, with our Essence Drain and Contagion, and they are dying pretty fast. And this guy specifically will drop Book of Specialization. This book will allow us to separate our weapon sets. If you don't know how to do it, definitely watch video in a pinned comment for beginners, because it will explain everything you need, and this actual setup will quadruple our damage output with this build. Basically I will use 2 weapon sets. Weapon set number 1 will be used only for chaos skills, and they will have increased chaos damage. But if we will rely only on chaos damage, we need to wait a lot of time until it actually deals damage to bosses. That's why most Essence Drain Contagion builds feels kinda slow in campaign, especially when you're fighting bosses. By the way, after clearing this boss in free turn, you will get Spirit Gem for permanent buff. And you can get Withering Presence to clear packs faster, you can get Ravenous Swarm to kill bosses faster, but I like to get Arctic Armor to survive more, because every time you die you need to restart from checkpoint and it eats a lot more time than just defeating monsters a little bit longer. The next important part to make sure build work is this blank rune in this location, that called Ogam Village. When you bring this blank rune back to Renly in town, he will offer you any type of rune, and you want to pick Lightning rune. But keep it until Act 2, because that's where we transform into complete boss melter. Last key ingredient to enable our power is level 5 skill gem, and we will craft Bonestorm from it. You can get guaranteed gem after defeating Executioner and talking with this lady that you save from him back in town. She will give you guaranteed skill gem. But also you may find these skill gems of level 5 in next area by completing leak mechanics. For passive tree we just following increased spell damage nodes, but also we taking separate increased physical and increased chaos damage nodes at this point for different weapon sets. And you may finish this act around level 14 by getting Potent Incantation, which is best source of spell damage right now available to us. By combining all these spells together you will easily reach Count Gianur, who is the last boss of this location, but don't forget to defeat this living right, because he drops permanent bonus to your life in form of quest items that you need to consume. You can check gear I used to clear each act in Mobalytics, but again it's pretty simple. It mostly bonuses to life on all armor pieces, and level to all spell skills is most important part of our weapons and focus if possible. And yes, you don't need a lot of gear because it can be shared between weapon sets. Don't know how to do it? Check beginner's guide. because right now I'm crafting last skill of level 5, it will be Bonestorm. Using extra support gems that I got to create brutality to deal more physical damage with Bonestorm and its physical damage skill that should be used on weapon set number 2, and rapid casting to cast it faster. It really increases our total damage, making sure that Bonestorm will be casted with second weapon set and we are ready to face boss. And that's how it looks like. Basically you just press and hold button, you create bunch of projectiles, and when you release the button they will hit enemy. So after creating multiple projectiles, you want to accumulate around 20, which is like a maximum amount, you're pretty easily dealing insane amount of damage at this point of the game. And yeah, because this skill is projectile, it also can benefit from Flame Wall, but I decided to not use it, and as you can see, second form of Count Gianor got melted basically in one single turn. He never used his Frost Wolf poem phase. This build and strategy was enough to easily reach Act number 2. And here is good news. Technically there will be almost no changes in the build from this point, and you will play kinda same skills forever. If you're fighting some fast boss and you feel you have no time to use Bonestorm, you can even try to cast your chaos damage over time effects and just wait until he will be defeated. But that's probably not what you want if you clicked on this guide. You want to actually melt bosses in seconds. That's why right now you want to visit shop every time you level up, because every time you level up you're actually getting a refresh of the shop, so you will have new items and then you will be able to find upgrades. You will find what you're looking for when you reach level 18, because that's where shop will show you bonuses of item level 18. But even if you reach this area that you're seeing right now, it will be level 18 and monsters can start to drop wands with +2 level to certain skill. Staffs will also have similar level thresholds, but at area level 36 and your level 36 you may find staffs with +4 level to certain type of skills. Basically you want highest level possible combined that you may find from your wand and focus or from your staff. If it's level to all skills, you just share this weapon among 2 weapon sets. If it's level to physical spells, you use it for weapon set number 2 and find another weapon for weapon set number 1 to level to all skills or to level to chaos skills. And that's levels where you will find upgrade for focus. Basically it's area level 10 where you will find +1 level to all spell skills, and at level 41 you will start looking for +2 level to all skills on your focus. This will boost your damage significantly, but also this build does not require any type of luck, so even if you're unlucky we will scale our damage tremendously. Still, I recommend to look for the best weapon you may find before you're doing it. You may see the footage right now and think, oh my goodness, this bro is just melting this Raja the Dread Engineer. And yeah, we defeated her in basically 4 casts of Bonestorm, but we can do it better, because at this point of the game you may find Uncut Support Gem tier 2 and create Living Lightning. Right now you can use it on Orb of Storms, but later we will remove Brutality from Bonestorm and change it to Living Lightning. But on its own it won't do anything. Here's the important part why we need it. Bonestorm will apply stacks of Impale to target. Basically for every projectile we shoot, and we shoot around 20 projectiles each cast. Yeah, wording may confuse you, but it's basically 30% more damage on top of your already inflicted damage, but to actually deal this damage you need to hit enemy with different skill, or different entity need to hit enemy. And that's the trick, you need to have gain damage as extra lightning damage on your wand. If there is no bonus on your wand, don't worry, because you can create circuit by using artificial orb and then apply any type of storm rune. As I told you, that's the exact type of rune we want to create from Blank Rune in Act number 1. Now, whenever I hit enemy with Bonestorm, it also got a little bit of lightning damage, and this will create little living lightnings that will attack enemy and remove impale stacks with insane damage. If you got okayish weapon from Act number 1 with like +1 or +2 level to all spell skills, that's what you will see. Basically you try to shock enemy with Orb of Storms and then hit with all this Bonestorm and Impale together. It will melt most of the bosses in a few seconds. Some of them, however, will have armor. And that's what we will fix soon with this note on POE3. We will break armor with critical hits with spells. Trust me, this giant got a lot more armor than previous boss, but his armor is broken right now, and we will deal full damage, which will result in basically this boss melted in matter of few seconds. As well as any other boss on our way next. With bad gear we will delete them in 4 casts, with good gear in 2. I skipped this part for now, but actually at the start of this act you want to get your ascendancy in Trials of Sekimas. It's series of rooms and challenges, and after you defeat the last boss you will get your ascendancy points. You can pick any ascendancy you like, this build will work. However, for this run I will take Infernalist. Don't worry, you can change your ascendancy later. But getting Infernalist ascendancy right now will give you option to pick Demon form. It will give you more spell damage and more casting speed, but it will slowly eat your life. Maybe you get lucky and you will have loads of life regeneration on your gear. That's when you can afford to basically keep this demon form forever. But actually the best part of this form is our model. It will be a little bit smaller than our normal character model, and we will be able to sleep between enemies a lot easier. With next big thing about this form that we will have insanely cool roll animation, which is basically quick dash with your wings. It got higher distance, and just by spamming this skill you can easily travel through campaign a lot faster. There will be no other changes in the build, but we will get shock and overabundant support gems on Orb of Storms and freeze and control destruction on Arctic armor. This will help us shock bosses more often and plant 2 orbs at the same time, and also sometime will save us from basic enemies by freezing them. When you get enough dexterity you can add second wind for demon form, so you will activate it more often if you want to turn it off sometime. Passive tree will be pretty simple. We take little cluster of chaos damage for weapon set number 1 and cluster for physical damage for weapon set number 2. In this fight I haven't found any better ones yet, so I'm still using gear from act number 1, and as you can see it's even more than needed right now. But yeah, it may feel a little bit slower if you haven't upgraded your gear for 20 levels. But I don't worry, because I'm counting to get something better in act number 3. Essence Drain and Contagion, even with Act 1 Wand and Focus, will work nicely for clearing of basic monsters. Shock will amplify our damage, and we will deal even with bosses at this point. But don't forget to defeat these 2 rare monsters in initial area. You will find them hiding in a corner of the map, and after you defeat both of them, it will unlock Basket. In this basket you will find Lesser Javeler Orb, and this orb will be used to create extra sockets on your skills. Depending on leak mechanic, you can get more of them or less of them, so it's up to you. You want to use it on Bonestorm to improve boss damage, or use it on Essence Drain for now to improve clearing speed. You got 2 options. One of them is Intense Agony, it will increase our damage, but also Zenith is nice choice. However, Zeniths work only if you're casting the spell on a high level of mana. So if you find yourself constantly overspending mana and not staying on 90% total, then definitely skip Zenith. You may ask me right now, where is one-shots? And yeah, I'm not talking about this gorilla one-shotting me. And that's why I'm showing it right now. A lot of power actually comes from gear. And yeah, this build will definitely carry you, even if you can't upgrade your wand or your staff, basically your weapon. Because we're using lots of smart choices on passive trees that will increase our damage dramatically. And yeah, it's mostly end of act number 3, and that's damage again with act 1 gear. We basically need like 7 shots of fully charged Bonestorm to completely melt this boss with our passive tree and our build technology right now. But eventually you will find upgrade for your weapon. And that's what you may expect from little gear upgrade. Yeah, we basically get back to 2 or 4 shots on most bosses. And that's completely broken. You don't need, but if you want you can even beat Trials of Chaos to get more ascendancy points. I decided to make all my hits to contribute to flammability magnitude. Now on top of our damage we're dealing a little bit of fire damage, and it just melts bosses. Yeah, it's Viper, pretty hard boss, but basically I'm standing still, completely charging my Bonestorm, stunning her and defeating her in few casts. Then repeating same process with Doriani, basically melting him again in 5 casts in each form. And that's where it gets really crazy. Again, you can keep these upgraded items from Act 3 basically until endgame, because that's Act 4 and that's kinda final part of Act 4 where I'm getting passive skill points and I'm melting this bro in just one single turn by few casts. And this will happen again and again and again throughout your journey right to the end game. Build itself won't have lots of changes. I just added Burgeon and Deliberation to Bonestorm for more damage, as well as Swift Affliction to Contagion. Trick to really deal more damage is passive skill tree, and still we're using passive skills from weapon set number 1 for chaos damage, for clearing speed, and basically our clear damage, and we're using weapon set number 2 for more critical hit chance right now. Normally you don't want to scale your critical hit chance early in campaign and even early in end game. However, for this build it really works, because we're shooting multiple projectiles every single time. This means even with basic critical hit chance of 10%, we actually can hit quite oftenly 1 or 2 critical hits. Our critical hits will also break enemy armor, and also they benefit from different bonuses from passive skill tree, like breaking enemy armor on critical hits, which will increase damage taken by Bonestorm, which will increase damage taken from Impale, and so on and so on, and that's basically the loop how we can easily maximize damage on our witch in campaign. Also on passive tree you may notice bunch of nodes, so to increase number of projectiles, again it works nicely for our Bonestorm to hit with more projectiles every now and then, or quite oftenly, and it increases our damage a lot. And this guy probably was the hardest fight for me. He is quite fast, and actually I decided to use more damage over time effects against him instead of Bonestorm, because somehow I missed 2 Bonestorm casts on controller. Yeah, I'm playing on controller, but whatever, missed and missed. I used my damage over time effects and played safely and finished him off like that. Basically you're seeing my strategy right now. So don't worry, you can have different strategies against bosses, and if you actually losing your health constantly and you don't like to drink your health potions pretty often, just don't play in demon form against bosses. Yeah, play in a normal form, it's fine, it's working pretty nicely. Still against him I like to use demon form for quicker movements and avoiding his attacks more reliably. And then when I upgraded weapons by the end of Act 4, I mean Interludes, that's where I got insane amount of damage, and that's basically what you're seeing on the screen right now. Yeah, it's not final, still we will get even more damage when we join maps, but that's what you get from a fresh start in campaign, and that's what you can expect to see on your screen. Yeah, it's pretty powerful, and that's really nice damage for just basic witch. If you're having troubles with any part of the game, you can watch a full run. Yeah, I uploaded full run that took me around 5 hours to defeat full campaign and get to the end game. You will see it on the screen right now, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like. See you in the next videos.